Now, we are on to the 1997 absolute gem of the bunch, Batman and Robin.
Welcome to Wrestling Banter with PMDB 5. Number 4 on my original channel, PMDB Videos, I was commentating on Bret the Hitman Hart versus Diesel at the Survivor Series 1995. And I mentioned about the 1997 Survivor Series. So we're going to be watching the main event of, well, I'm going to be watching, not you guys. I'm going to have on in the background the main event of the Survivor Series 1997. Not sure if you've ever heard of it before. Features Bret the Hitman Hart taking on his pal, his buddy, Shawn Michaels. In 3, 2, 1, I'm going to click X on my PlayStation 2 controller so you can watch along if you have the Silver Vision UK DVD edition. So let's go. Let's go, Boris. Let's go. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to click on the match. 3, 2, 1. We're off. I've clicked on my PlayStation 2 X button. And Shawn Michaels is on his way to the ringside area. Looking very, he was in full heel bad guy mode by this point. And he's about to be very disrespectful to the crowd. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this opening entrance that there's just no way, as he gets juice thrown over him, or was that beer? A lot of marks in this crowd. It's not real, folks. Nae real. It's actually nae real. They might have, at this time, not really liked each other in real life either, but this match is not, it's fake fight, folks. So this is 997 with our European champion, Shawn Michaels. Yes, it's a lot of stuff you could not do in today's political correct climate. I remember watching this, I was 9 going on 10. The Survivor Series always comes around when it's near or just after my birthday. And I was a huge Shawn Michaels fan at the time. I wanted to be Shawn Michaels, look like Shawn Michaels, blah, 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 blah. Blah. It's a bad habit of mine doing that. Wow, just looking at the signs in the crowd. Change days. Change days indeed. There's a lot of... There's just no way WWE could broadcast an environment like this these days. The PC police would be all over them. As we're waiting, there's Bret the Hitman Hart, whom this would be his last. I call this his last WWF match. I don't count the so-called match he had when he eventually came back with Mr. McMahon at WrestleMania 26. That was a con. As he's led the behind him is the British Bulldog and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. What's quite sad, looking back at some of these old wrestling videos now is Bret Hart's the only one left of the Hart Foundation. 997. I would have been nearly 10. I remember talking about this. I can remember it like it was yesterday. As I've got my tea. I'm also keeping an eye out on the Rangers scoreline. Let's check on them, actually. They're still winning 1-0 against a team called the Young Boys. Morales scored. I wish he could have scored on Sunday. That'd have been nice. But Morales gets his 26th goal of the season as Bret the Hitman Hart makes his way to the ring. I always loved his theme tune. I felt when Bret Hart came back in 2010, eventually, they ruined his return by him not using this theme tune And he came out with a remixed version. It was crap. It sucked. It's absolute. This is the real Bret Hart theme tune here. Got a big Canadian flag. Very popular man in Canada and in Europe at this time. Probably still is. I really enjoy both men in this match. So in these videos, I'll commentate, give my thoughts on what's going on in the ring, and speak about just things in general that are happening today or happening in 1997, just whatever enters my mind, I'll mention. I've been a bit lazy again. I'm going with just pictures in this type of video. It takes far too long to upload actual videos, and well, I guess I'm getting lazy, but as Bret Hart's way to give out his sunglasses to a member of the crowd. That was not called the WWE Universe back then. I've never liked that term, WWE Universe. Just looking at signs, some of the signs up in the crowd here. Just, wow, what? We're so conditioned by political correctness these days, well, whether you like it or nay. There's a lot of signs in here that just would not make it to television now. This was the 11th annual Survivor Series. And Shawn Michaels is healing it up on the outside as he gives a mocking smile to the crowd. This would be their long-awaited rematch from WrestleMania 12. I remember watching it at my grandma's house. I was rooting for Shawn Michaels. I was, really wanting him to become World Wrestling Federation champion. I was starting to go off Shawn Michaels by this point. And later on, I would become a huge Steve Austin mark. Still am a Steve Austin mark. He was on this show battling Owen Hart in a pretty decent encounter. He was so over by this point, Stone Cold Steve Austin. But this is not about that beautiful bald man. This is about Bret Hart, Earl Hebner, the WWF Championship, and Shawn Michaels, as he bolts into the ring and attacks Bret Hart right away. Bit of a cheap shot there, but the Hitman's firing back, knocks down Shawn Michaels. And again, I've not watched this match all the way through for a long time, as Bret the Hitman Hart's kicking Shawn Michaels' ass in the early going. So this is like a watch along, and just a sit down and chill with me type of video, as I flap my gums for about 15 minutes or more, depending how long these matches last. I usually just finish straight away after when the match is finished, as I feel like I've spoken enough, especially during the Royal Rumbles, when I did a couple of Royal Rumbles, 1992 and 1993, and I ended it straight away after the Rumbles were over, as the brawl, the fight, breaks out near the crowd. We've got lots of marks in the crowd. One with a Austin 316 top on as Michaels gets thrown into the crowd. Wow, they are really into their wrestling here. I think there's a few USA fans here as well. I've seen a few pro Shawn Michaels signs. See, back in 1997, when in Canada Bret Hart was the good guy, and when in the US he was the bad guy. Interesting times back then. I never booed. I mean, I was starting to go off Shawn Michaels with his antics back in 1997, but as for Bret Hart, there was times I would get fed up of Bret Hart always winning, But I always had, I guess, respect for him because he was a great wrestler. As I sip my tea here, we've already got Sergeant Slaughter and Mr. McMahon at ringside. There's a lot of debate over the years whether this is has all been a work, this Montreal screw job. That has been talked about to death by everybody since 1997. As Shawn Michaels is choking Bret Hart out with an American flag. This is totally different from their match at WrestleMania 12. But whether it was a work or not, I'm on the side that thinks it was like a shoot. Like, I don't think Bret Hart knew Vince was going to screw him over at the end of this match as he is rammed into a railing. Now, I've spotted a fan in here. He's got a pink tracksuit on. I'm sure I've seen him at a number of WWF, WWE shows over the years. I'm sure he was at WrestleMania 23 in the crowd during the Battle of the Billionaires match between Vince McMahon and Donald Trump. It's election night here in the UK. I did my bit today. I voted for Boris. Well, I voted for the Conservative Party. I didn't actually vote for Boris, but you know what I mean. And I actually managed to convince my mum, whom had been a long-time Labour supporter, to vote for the party in blue. I've did my bit, folks. As Shawn Michaels has been knocked down, as the battle continues. I don't think there has or ever will be again a heated feud, quite like Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels. It's what two greats of the business, two all-time greats that would have been great in any era. Shawn Michaels, as he gets quite the suplex to the outside by Bret Hart. I think most of this match takes place outside of the ring. We're right in the heart of the Attitude Era as Shawn Michaels starts attacking Hart Patterson. What's that about? Or was that no Jared Briscoe? He just punched there. Shawn Michaels, he could talk, great in-ring wrestler, great entertainer. Then you had Bret Hart, whom could talk too. He got better later on. He wasn't so good to begin with at promos, but in this year specifically, he was really good at times. But he didn't need to talk because he was that excellent in the ring and took it very serious. And just a great character in general. From the legendary Hart family. His dad was, of course, Stu Hart. There's all sorts of stories about the Stu Hart dungeon and what went on down there. So 1997, what was Paul Michael David Bain doing in 1997? Well, I touched on before. I was going to mention I was actually at a party, 18th party. This guy who still loves wrestling today. I have a love for the old stuff, but I can't stand the new stuff. As Bret Hart's just taken out a referee, I'm not sure. Why do they keep hitting officials? What's going on here? The beef is between you two. Vince McMahon's looking a bit nervous. But I remember being at 18th. I was nearly 10 at the time, and I remember talking about the guy that was celebrating his 18th. And he was telling me that Bret Hart is gone, he's done. You know, we were talking about the Survivor Series match. And I couldn't believe it at the time. Like, no way, I'm sure he'll come back, Bret Hart. And then years later, I was actually at this guy's 40th and actually mentioned the time I was at his 18th and we were talking about Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels matchup from Survivor Series. And Survivor Series, of course, was just around the corner when I was at this guy's 40th. It's like so much stuff changes in the world, but some stuff never changes. We're still talking about wrestling all these years later. Still talking about this damn match all these years later. As Rangers still lead, it's 87 minutes gone. It was a bit of a rough week for my beloved Rangers this week, or last week rather. However, in 1997, it wasn't rough at all to be a Rangers fan, as they won 9 in a row, with arguably the best Rangers team of my lifetime. Consisted of Ali McCoist, Paul Gascoigne, Andy Gorham, Brian Lydrop, Richard Goff, managed by Walter Smith. Good times to be a Rangers fan. The 9 in a row. It was also a time as Shawn Michaels gets delivered. I can't remember what that move's called. My mind's went flat there. Well, I will say, I'm noticing more and more as the older I get. Wrestling matches, unless there's good characters and an interesting story going in, wrestling matches can be rather boring to watch. But this one's certainly not boring, as we've got 2 great wrestling characters and a story like no other, as Shawn Michaels delivers a kick to Bret the Hitman Hart. That's annoying me, I didn't know the name of that move. Not that it matters. It wasn't a backbreaker. I don't watch too much wrestling these days. I believe the commentary team for this show was Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler. Obviously, it wasn't Vince McMahon, as he's out there wandering about on the outside. So I'm pretty sure it was a team, a great duo of Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross. As the marks in the crowd are starting to throw stuff in, they really had look at, there's a guy in the crowd actually challenging to fight Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels is mocking them. What a bunch of marks. These are not kids, these are grown men in the crowd wanting to go with Shawn Michaels. Wow. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels really had the crowd in the palm of their hand. So I tweet these videos, I've been commenting on the match, giving my thoughts, also talking about whatever enters my head. Watching this guy, he looks quite built up actually. The guy challenging Shawn Michaels to a scrap. As Shawn Michaels has just told the security guard to get rid of the guy, I think. I think he's gone, is he? But Shawn Michaels, even though he's in character here, he really is antagonizing the Canadian mark crowd. I mean, we're going about wrestling fans being told marks today, and but I mean, look at the marks in the crowd here. As Shawn Michaels delivers, I'm not sure what you call that, half a suplex into the steel steps. As he's grabbed the Canadian flag again. Yep, he's really antagonizing the Canadian. What quite the heel work he's doing in this match. So it's quite a night. There's Rangers, my beloved Rangers are playing, election night. The exit polls will come out in 10 minutes. I'm hoping for a Conservative landslide. I want Brexit done. But even for the crowd were total marks back here, the atmosphere at old wrestling shows are way better than the atmosphere at today's wrestling shows. The only wrestling show I keep up with, or wrestling themed show I keep up with on a semi-regular basis, is Castrating the Marks with Vince Russo and Jeff Lane. That's the only one I watch. I can be bothered with. Because they get it. They're not caught up in all this AEW nonsense that there's going to be a third wrestling boom or this is the best time ever to be a wrestling fan. It's not. Nobody cares about wrestling anymore. And the only reason I still talk about it is because I'm running out of subjects I can talk about. Because everything's so politically correct. Even though I'll mention politics here and there in random videos, I wouldn't do a whole video based on politics because I just can't. I just feel like I can't. And I can't be bothered with the arguments back and forth either. It gets ugly. So, that's why I go to my safe space, if you will. I go to my fake fights, and surely no one will be offended over my opinion on fake fights. As Shawn Michaels gets thrown down. Al Hebner, of course, the referee of this match. He was definitely the best referee ever. He got fired. Him and his brother Dave got fired for selling merchandise when they shouldn't have, or something. I don't know the whole story. But they got fired in about 2005, and I haven't seen him in a WWE ring again. But he was definitely the best referee. He refereed the Hogan Warrior encounter at WrestleMania 6. This match, their WrestleMania 12 match, and the greatest professional wrestling match ever, WrestleMania 17's The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't care how many ratings Dave Meltzer gives these matches that have happened in Japan or elsewhere. He gives them like 7 stars, 6 stars, 5 stars. None of them, not that I've watched any of them, but I can guarantee you, I did watch one to see what the fuss was about between Kenny Omega and I can't even remember the other guy's name. But it was just a flippity flip flop flop show. There was no like I don't know, I don't get it. It takes more than just fancy moves that look dangerous for it to be a good match. As Bret Hart applies this dangerous looking figure 4 leg lock on Shawn Michaels around the ring post, I always liked this. This was great. I always loved that when he did that. It looked great. It looked like it really hurt. And if that was mistimed, I bet you that could really, really do some damage to you if that move is not done right or mistimed. But as I was ranting there's never been a greater wrestling match that I've seen than The Rock versus Stone Cold Steve Austin tearing the house down at WrestleMania 17. I should really do a commentary on that match sometime. Greatest match ever. Yes, I'm a huge Stone Cold mark. As Bret Hart comes down on Shawn Michaels' right leg. Bret Hart, his trademark pink and black attire. As he comes down on Shawn's leg once again. There's a great, fantastic Batman film released this year, of course, Batman and Robin. I went to the cinema to see it. I think I was a bit confused at the cinema. I was happy that, I just did not buy George Clooney as Batman, even as a kid. It's like, nah, I just couldn't buy, when I was young, I was like, there's no way George Clooney could beat up Arnold Schwarzenegger. I just didn't buy it. I remember coming away from the cinema quite happy that, Arnold Schwarzenegger's Mr. Freeze didn't die, or, but that film definitely still is one of the worst Batman films ever made. It's there's been a lot of bad Batman related films since the whole DC extended universe crap. That's when I can no longer call myself a Batman fan, actually, because I mean I've not bought a Batman film on DVD since The Dark Knight Rises. Like when they started bringing Superman into the equation, I was pretty much done. I mean, I did go and see the films, but I've never went out to purchase the films. Let's check on my Team Rangers. Oh, for goodness sakes. Full time. Rangers won, Young Boys won. Ryan Jack got a red card. As the Survivor Series can... Oh, it's flashing on and off. My Survivor Series may go off here. That'd be annoying. A little bit distracted by my team's result here today. I think they're still through to the next round. So let's just check. I think they just needed a draw. As Bret Hart's covering Shawn Michaels. My TV's going on and off. What's going on here? Uh-oh. No bad signal. No signal. I'm going to have to shut this down and then sort my DVD. What a pest. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Right. Sorry about that, folks. My DVD player or PS2 was playing up there. So I've rewinded it a wee bit back just before Bret Hart's way to deliver a Russian leg sweep to Shawn Michaels. So in 3, 2, 1, I'm going to resume this match. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Right, he's just delivered a Russian leg sweep to Shawn Michaels as he goes for the cover. So, where were we? Yes, I was a bit disappointed to see Rangers didn't actually win their game. And was looking... I believe they have still qualified. Let's have a look. If I can see the Europa League table. If they had won, they would have qualified as winners as Bret Hart delivers a suplex to Shawn Michaels. Why is my internet so slow? Big backbreaker now to Shawn Michaels. I don't think there's much long left of this match. I think it does end prematurely as Bret Hart's climbing to the top rope. As Shawn Michaels shoves Earl Hebner into Bret Hart and they have a clash of heads, it looks like. Now all three are down. Bret Hart's down, Shawn Michaels is down, and Earl Hebner's down. You get the feeling something not quite right's about to happen. My internet's so slow. Oh, doesn't matter. I'll find out about Rangers later. I'm pretty sure they'll qualify. Here we go. Here's the moment. Yeah, here's the moment. One of the most controversial moments in wrestling. He's putting a sharpshooter in. He's actually getting it wrong. Bret Hart's actually telling him how to do it right. The sharpshooter is in. He hasn't gave up, but Earl Hebner's ringing the bell anyways, and we are at the end of the Survivor Series here. And the fans are livid. Shawn Michaels' music will be blaring. Vince McMahon is there. As Bret Hart looks down and spits at Vince McMahon. As Vince McMahon wipes the spit from his face. And that's like him wiping away his good guy character and becoming the evil Mr. McMahon characters. The fans are livid. Triple H is there. Shawn Michaels grabs his belt and he's being shoved by the fans. He is out of there. He's looking really annoyed. So yeah, this is quite a quick matchup especially compared to their Iron Man match. And the Survivor Series comes to a halt just like that. We don't get a highlights package. We don't get anything. It just goes off the air. And off the air, I believe Bret Hart, this is when Bret Hart started smashing the monitors and telling the fans he was off to WCW. What would I give this match out of 5 if I were to do a Dave Meltzer and you'll I'll give it a 4 stars. 4 stars out of 5 for me because it's so damn important. It's so memorable. And it felt so real as well. If you can suspend your disbelief for a matchup, the wrestlers have done their job. So yeah, definitely highly recommend this match to watch it at least once in your lifetime if you're a wrestling fan. And yeah, so that's my fifth wrestling banter video. Hope you enjoyed, folks. I'll probably do one again soon. We shall see. This will be on Paul Michael DB. Speak soon, and happy election day for those living in the UK.